My wife confessed, I kissed someone from work. I tried to forgive her, until I read how she wrote to him, "You were amazing last night." That's when I packed my bags forever. Ethan, can we talk? Her voice trembled. It was Sunday morning, sunlight spilling through the kitchen window like nothing was wrong. I was halfway through my coffee, half listening, half dreaming of a quiet day. But something in her tone made me set the mug down. "What's going on?" I asked. Emily didn't look at me. Her hands twisted the edge of a napkin, tearing it bit by bit. I need to tell you something. My heart thudded once, slow, heavy. "You're scaring me." She finally met my eyes. "I kissed someone." For a second, I just stared at her, waiting for the punchline. A joke, a misunderstanding, anything. "You what?" "It just happened," she said quickly. "It didn't mean anything." I laughed, a hollow sound I didn't recognize. "You kissed someone?" "Who?" "A coworker," she whispered. I leaned back, forcing a smile that hurt to hold. "Okay. Just a kiss, right?" She nodded. "Too fast. Too rehearsed." It was a mistake. I felt horrible right after. I wanted to believe her. I really did. "Why tell me now?" "I couldn't keep it from you anymore," she said, her voice breaking. "I love you, Ethan. I made a mistake, and I need to be honest." I stared at the steam curling up from my mug. "Honest," I repeated. The word tasted like ash. "So, this guy. Does he have a name?" Her silence answered me before she spoke. "Jason. Jason Miller." I knew the name. She'd mentioned him a dozen times over the years, the charming coworker, the guy who brought donuts to meetings, the one who understood marketing better than anyone. "Jason Miller," I said slowly. "You kissed Jason Miller." "It was one time, Ethan. I swear." I was stressed, and he was just there. I didn't mean for it to happen. I rubbed my face, trying to erase the image forming in my head. "So what now? You dropped this on me over breakfast, and I'm supposed to what? Thank you for being honest?" Her eyes filled with tears. "Please don't do this. I told you because I love you." "No," I said quietly. "You told me because the guilt was eating you alive. Not because you love me." She reached for my hand, but I pulled it back. "Ethan. Do you have any idea what that feels like? To sit here and hear that the woman I trusted most let another man touch her?" Tears slid down her cheeks. "I didn't sleep with him. It was just a kiss. I couldn't stop thinking about you afterward. I wanted to make it right." "Just a kiss," I muttered. "Like that makes it better." "I know it doesn't," she whispered. "But I need you to know I regret it. I'll do anything to fix this." "Anything?" I asked. "Then start by telling me the truth. Everything. Was it just one kiss?" She hesitated, too long. Her lips parted, but the words never came. That pause told me more than any confession could. "Emily." My voice was shaking now. "Was it just one kiss?" "Yes," she said finally. But her tone betrayed her. I stared at her, searching her face for the woman I thought I knew. Every memory, every smile, every late-night talk, every time she said she loved me, felt suddenly fragile, like something that could crack under the weight of a single lie. "I can't do this right now," I said, standing up. "Ethan, please. I need air." I walked out to the porch, the cold morning air cutting through me. Behind me, I heard her crying, whispering my name like it could glue everything back together. But it couldn't. The street was quiet. A neighbor's dog barked in the distance. Everything felt normal, except my life wasn't. I sat on the steps, head in my hands, trying to slow my breathing. "Just a kiss," I muttered to myself. "Just a kiss." But the words didn't make it hurt any less. When I finally went back inside, she was sitting where I'd left her, eyes red, napkin shredded to pieces. "I'll make it right," she said softly. "Can you?" I asked. She didn't answer. The silence stretched between us, thick and suffocating. The house that once felt warm now felt foreign. Every breath I took seemed to echo with her confession. I wanted to forgive her, God, I wanted to, but something deep inside me had already cracked. And once something cracks, it never looks the same again. I believe you, I told her that night, even though my voice cracked halfway through the sentence. Emily didn't look up from her phone. You should, she said softly. It was just a mistake. Just a mistake. That line became her favorite. She repeated it like it could somehow undo what she'd done. For the next few days, I tried to live inside that lie. I smiled when she smiled. I laughed when she spoke. But behind every sound of her voice was an echo that didn't belong to me anymore. Who are you texting? I asked one evening as she sat on the couch, phone tilted away from me. No one. Just work stuff. At 10:30? She sighed. You know how marketing gets before a deadline. I nodded, pretending to believe it. Yeah, sure. Work. She locked her phone and stood up. Ethan, you said you forgave me. Are you going to keep interrogating me? I'm just asking questions. Well, stop. I can't breathe around you anymore. Her words hit harder than she knew. Maybe that's because you're hiding something. She turned away. You're unbelievable. No, I thought. I'm just finally waking up. That night, I couldn't sleep. I watched her back rise and fall, steady and calm, while my own chest felt like it was caving in. Every vibration of her phone made my stomach twist. When she rolled over, mumbling in her sleep, I reached for it. My hand trembled as I unlocked it. The code I'd known for years suddenly felt like a betrayal. I opened her messages. Jason. His name sat there like a wound that never closed. My heart hammered against my ribs. The first text I saw was from 2 days ago, can't stop thinking about last night. I swallowed hard and kept scrolling. You taste better each time. You were amazing. My vision blurred. My fingers went numb. I wanted to throw the phone across the room. Instead, I kept reading. Every word was another knife. They joked about me, he's so clueless, Jason had written. She'd replied with a laughing emoji. I put the phone down, sat on the edge of the bed, and stared at the floor. My breath came in shallow gasps. When she stirred, I slipped the phone back beside her pillow. She turned slightly, her hand brushing mine. Ethan, she whispered. Yeah? Can you turn off the light? Sure. My voice didn't sound like my own. In the dark, I whispered to myself, you didn't just kiss him. The next morning, she acted like nothing had happened. She hummed while making coffee, her hair tied up, her bare feet tapping on the tiles. Morning, she said brightly. I forced a smile. Morning. She handed me a cup. You look tired. Didn't sleep much. Still thinking about it? Yeah, I said quietly. Something like that. She leaned against the counter, her eyes softening. I told you, Ethan. It didn't mean anything. I almost laughed. Nothing, huh? Please don't start again, she groaned. We're trying to move on. Are we? I asked. Because it feels like I'm the only one standing still while you're somewhere else. She looked away. You're overanalyzing everything. Maybe, I said. Or maybe I finally see what's right in front of me. Her jaw tightened. You're paranoid. I saw the messages, Emily. The words froze her. Her hands fell to her sides. What? I read them, I said, voice shaking. All of them. Her lips parted, but no sound came out. You taste better each time. That's what he said, right? And you said he was amazing. Tears filled her eyes. You went through my phone? Yes, I snapped. Because you wouldn't tell me the truth. It wasn't, she broke off, trembling. It wasn't supposed to happen again. Again? I laughed bitterly. So it wasn't just a kiss. It wasn't just once. She pressed her palms to her face. Ethan, please. How long? I asked quietly. Silence. How long, Emily? Her voice cracked. A few weeks. I felt something inside me collapse. Weeks. She tried to reach for me. It's over now. I ended it. With a text that said, "Can't stop thinking about last night." That was before I ended it, she whispered. I didn't mean. Stop lying. I'm not lying anymore. Now that you got caught. Her tears fell freely. I didn't want to hurt you. You already did, I said. You just didn't think I'd find out. She shook her head. I'm sorry, Ethan. I believed you, I whispered. I wanted to believe every word. But every time you looked at me, I could feel you somewhere else. She collapsed onto the couch, sobbing. It was a mistake. I was lonely. You were distant. I didn't know how to fix us. And this was your fix? I asked, my voice hollow. Letting another man touch what was supposed to be mine? She didn't answer. I stared at her, the woman I once thought I'd grow old with, and realized I didn't recognize her anymore. I can't do this, I said finally. Not when every word out of your mouth feels poisoned. She looked up, eyes red. Please, Ethan. Don't give up on me. I stood, walked to the door, and turned back once. You already did. Then I left her there, surrounded by silence, the lies still hanging heavy in the air. I stopped sleeping. The night stretched endlessly, filled with echoes of her voice and the words I couldn't unread. Every creak in the house made me tense. Every time her phone buzzed, I flinched. Emily tried to act normal. She cooked dinner, hummed, asked if I was okay, as if we could stitch life back together with small talk. Did you eat today? She asked one evening, setting a plate in front of me. I'm not hungry. You haven't eaten since yesterday. I said I'm fine. She sighed and sat across from me. You can't keep doing this. Doing what? Breathing? Existing next to the woman who broke me? Her eyes watered. I'm trying, Ethan. To do what? I snapped. Pretend it didn't happen. She rubbed her temples. You're twisting everything I say. Because everything you say feels twisted. Her voice broke. What do you want from me? The truth, I said. All of it. I already told you. No, I leaned forward. You told me the version that makes you sleep at night. She went quiet, staring at her hands. Did you love him? The question slipped out before I could stop it. Her lips trembled. No. Don't lie. I'm not lying, she shouted, slamming her hand on the table. It wasn't love. It was stupid. I felt seen, that's all. Seen, I repeated bitterly. You needed him to see you? Her voice dropped to a whisper. I didn't mean for it to happen. But it did, I said. Over and over again. Tears filled her eyes. Ethan, please stop. I can't, I whispered. Because every time I close my eyes, I see him touching you. Every sound in this house reminds me of what you did. She covered her face, sobbing. I hate myself for it. Not enough. She looked up, mascara streaked. What do you want me to say? That I wish it was you? That I wish I could erase him from my head? I do, Ethan. I swear I do. I looked at her, the woman I once loved more than life itself, and felt nothing but emptiness. You already erased me first. That night, I couldn't breathe lying next to her. Her scent, the same lavender shampoo, made me nauseous. I got up and sat in the living room, staring at the dark window. My reflection looked hollow, eyes sunken. In the morning, Ava called. You sound awful, she said. I'm fine. You're not fine. What's going on? Nothing. Just work stress. Don't lie to me, Ethan. I'm not lying, I said, but my voice wavered. Come over tonight. Mom's been asking about you. I can't. Emily's not feeling well. There was a pause. Since when do you make excuses for her? Just drop it, Ava. You always shut me out when something's wrong, she said gently. You don't have to do that anymore. I swallowed hard. I said I'm fine. Fine, she sighed. But when you're ready, I'll be here. After the call, I sat in silence. Emily walked in, hair messy, wearing one of my old shirts. Who was that? Ava. What did she want? To make sure I'm still breathing. She hesitated. Do you want to talk to her about us? No. Why not? Because I don't even know what us is anymore. Her eyes filled with tears. I'm sorry. Stop saying that, I muttered. It doesn't fix anything. Then tell me how to fix it. You can't, I said quietly. Some things don't get fixed. She covered her mouth, sobbing again. Please don't give up on me. I stared at her. You already did. The moment you let him touch you, you gave up on everything we built. She sank to the floor, crying so hard it hurt to watch. For a second, I wanted to comfort her, but then I remembered him, and my hands stayed frozen at my sides. That night, I lay awake again, listening to her breathe. The silence between us felt alive, whispering all the things we'd never say. I whispered to myself, I'm still here, but I feel like a ghost haunting my own home. I didn't follow her out of suspicion. I followed her because I needed to stop lying to myself. That evening, she said she had a late meeting. Her tone was flat, eyes avoiding mine. I nodded, pretending not to care. But when she left, I grabbed my keys. The drive to her office felt endless. Every red light mocked me. My palms were sweating. I parked across the street, headlights off. Then I saw her. Emily. Laughing. Her hand brushed his arm, Jason. That single touch burned into my chest. It wasn't a handshake or a friendly pat. It was familiar. She tilted her head the way she used to when I made her laugh. They stood too close. His fingers grazed her back as he whispered something. She smiled. My stomach twisted. I didn't need to hear a word. The silence between them said enough. When she finally left, I sat in my car for 10 minutes, breathing through the weight pressing on my chest. My heart didn't race anymore. It just hurt quietly. That night, when she walked in, I was sitting at the table. The same place where she confessed the first time. She froze. Hey, she said cautiously. Hi. Her eyes darted toward my face. You're quiet. I went for a drive, I said. Where to? Near your office. Her body tensed instantly. Why? To see the truth with my own eyes. She swallowed hard. Ethan. Don't, I interrupted. Don't insult me with another lie. Her voice trembled. It's not what you think. I think you're sleeping with him. She went pale. Don't finish that sentence. Tears pooled in her eyes. Please, can we talk about this calmly? Calmly? I repeated, laughing bitterly. You had calm every night you came home to me after being with him. Her voice broke. It wasn't supposed to go that far. Then how far did it go? She sank into the chair opposite me, shaking. Do you really want to know? Yes. Her lip quivered. It started with drinks after work. Then messages. Then, she paused, sobbing. The first time was at a conference. I told myself it was a mistake. But it happened again. I stared at the floor. How many times? 4. Maybe 5. Maybe? She wiped her eyes. I lost count, Ethan. I was so lost. My throat felt dry. Did you ever stop to think about me? About us? Every time, she whispered. And that's what made it worse. Then why keep doing it? Because he made me feel alive, she cried. You were always so stable, so calm. I thought that's what I wanted. But then I felt invisible. I leaned back, numb. So you destroyed me because you were bored. She covered her face. I'm sorry. That word means nothing now. She reached across the table. Please, Ethan, I'll do anything. I'll quit my job. I'll cut him off. I'll go to therapy. I pulled my hand away. You already cut something, Emily. The moment you let him touch you, you severed everything that tied us together. She sobbed harder, sliding from the chair to the floor. Please, don't give up on me. You're my husband. You're my home. I don't feel like home anymore, I said softly. Her eyes widened. You can't mean that. I do. The doorbell rang. Emily froze. I opened it. Ava stood there, eyes scanning my face. You look like hell. Good timing, I muttered. She looked past me. What happened? Ask her, I said flatly. Emily wiped her tears. Ava, please. Don't talk to me, Ava snapped. You cheated on my brother. Ava, stop, I said. No, she said firmly. You've been defending her for weeks while she destroyed you. Emily sobbed, it wasn't about you, Ava. Everything that hurts him is about me, Ava said coldly. I rubbed my temples. Enough. Ava looked at me, voice softening. Ethan, come stay with me tonight. Please. Don't stay here. I'm fine. You're not. Emily looked terrified. You can't just leave. We can fix this. I met her eyes. You can't fix what you chose to break. She reached for me again, but I stepped back. Don't, I whispered. Her sob echoed through the room. I love you. I stared at her, pale, shaking, broken, and felt nothing but emptiness. Then why didn't you protect me from yourself? She crumpled to the floor, whispering my name through tears. I turned to Ava. Let's go. As I stepped outside, the cold air hit me like truth itself. Ava touched my shoulder. You did the right thing. I don't feel right, I said quietly. I just feel empty. We drove away in silence. Through the rearview mirror, I could still see the house, the light from our living room flickering through the curtains, and the shadow of the woman I once thought I'd grow old with. For the first time in months, I didn't cry. I just felt nothing at all. When I packed my things, the silence was unbearable. Every sound, the zipper of the suitcase, the creak of the floorboards, felt like the house was saying goodbye. Emily didn't show up that morning. Maybe she knew I wouldn't open the door. Ava stood near the kitchen, watching me wrap my coffee mug in newspaper. You sure you want to do this? I already did it the moment she lied, I said. She sighed. You don't have to run away. I'm not running, I replied. I'm leaving what's dead. Ava crossed her arms. You sound like you rehearsed that. Maybe I did. She looked around. This place used to feel warm. Now it's a tomb, I finished. We both fell silent. The refrigerator hummed softly. I glanced at the fridge door, the pictures still there, our wedding, our trip to Oregon, her laugh frozen forever. Ava noticed my stare. You want me to take them down? No. Leave them. Let her decide when she's ready to erase me. She nodded quietly. You're stronger than I thought. I don't feel strong, I admitted. I feel hollow. Grief does that, she said. It empties you before it heals you. I don't even want to heal yet, I whispered. Ava touched my arm. You don't have to want it. Just survive it. I didn't answer. I just kept packing. By evening, I was gone. The first night in my new apartment, everything echoed, the floor, the faucet, even my own breathing. I sat on the mattress, staring at the blank walls. My phone buzzed. Emily. Her name filled the screen like a wound reopening. I stared until the call ended. Then another. Then a message. Emily, please pick up. Emily, I can't sleep. Emily, can we talk? I turned off my phone. The silence that followed felt heavier than her voice ever did. Ava called later that night. You settled in? Sort of, I said. It's strange. There's no sound except my thoughts. That's a start, she said. Silence is where you rebuild. I'm not rebuilding. I'm just existing. She chuckled softly. That's how rebuilding starts. I lay back on the bed. I hate that I still love her, Ava. How does that even make sense? It makes sense because you're human, she said gently. You loved her deeply. That doesn't disappear overnight. I keep thinking about the small things, I murmured. The way she'd hum when cooking. The smell of her hair. It's like my brain's torturing me on purpose. Pain likes patterns, Ava said. It repeats until you teach it something new. I sighed. You sound like a therapist. I sound like your sister, she said. And I know you better than anyone. I smiled faintly. You really do. There was a pause. Write it down, she said suddenly. What? All of it. The pain, the memories, the anger. Put it somewhere outside of you. Like a journal? Exactly. Not to forgive her. To remember yourself. I hesitated. What if writing makes me remember too much? Then you'll know you're still alive. I stared at the ceiling long after we hung up. Eventually, I found an old notebook in my bag. The first page was blank, waiting. I wrote, Day 1, I moved out today. The house is still full of her laughter, but none of it feels real anymore. I stopped there, staring at the words. My handwriting looked shaky, like a stranger's. I wrote again, I don't want to heal. I just want to stop bleeding. When I finished, I closed the notebook and sat in silence. The air felt lighter, not better, just lighter. Days passed like blurred reflections. I went to work, came home, wrote a few lines, and ignored her calls. Emily, I saw your car missing. Please, just one conversation. Emily, I miss you. Emily, I'm sorry. I never replied. For the first time, silence became my form of revenge. One afternoon, Ava stopped by with takeout. She dropped the bags on my counter. You look awful. Thanks, I said dryly. She smirked. I brought comfort food. Is it pizza? Obviously. We ate in silence. Halfway through, she said, You know, love doesn't have to destroy you, Ethan. I don't believe that yet. You will, she said softly. When you stop measuring love by how much it hurts. I didn't reply. Her words lingered like sunlight through a cracked window, faint, but real. When she left, I opened my journal again. Day 6, I'm learning that emptiness isn't always bad. Sometimes it's just space waiting to be filled again. For the first time, I didn't cry after writing. I heard it from Mark at the cafe one gray afternoon. You won't believe this, he said, leaning across the table. Jason dumped her. I looked up from my coffee. What? He nodded. Yeah. Apparently, he got engaged to someone else. Quick rebound, too. Emily's a mess. I didn't react. I just stirred my drink and watched the ripple fade. Good for him, I said quietly. Mark frowned. That's all you've got to say? What else is there? I asked. It's not like I didn't see it coming. He hesitated. She got demoted, too. Something about performance issues, and people at work avoiding her. She's barely holding it together. I exhaled slowly. Karma doesn't rush, huh? Mark sighed. You're handling this way better than I expected. I'm not handling it, I said. I'm just done feeling anything about it. He studied me for a second, then said softly, You ever miss her? Sometimes, I admitted. But I miss who I thought she was, not who she turned out to be. Mark nodded. That's fair. When I left the cafe, the air felt lighter than it had in weeks. Not because she was suffering, but because I wasn't. I didn't feel anger, or even satisfaction. Just distance. That night, my phone buzzed. Her name. Again. I stared at it until it stopped ringing. Then came the message, Please, Ethan. I just want to talk. I typed a reply, then deleted it before sending. What could I say? You made your bed? No. I'd already said enough once. Silence was louder now. Ava noticed the next day. You look calmer, she said, handing me coffee. Maybe I am, I said. She smiled faintly. Did something happen? I shrugged. Just heard she's not doing well. Her expression softened. And how do you feel about that? I thought I'd feel vindicated, I said. But it's just empty. Like I'm watching a movie I've already seen too many times. Ava nodded slowly. That's what peace feels like sometimes. It's quiet. I used to think peace would feel like fireworks, I said. Turns out, it's more like turning the volume down after years of noise. She smiled. That's beautiful, Ethan. I'm not trying to be poetic, I said. It's just the truth. Later, as I sat in my apartment, I thought about her. I could almost picture her, sitting alone, checking her phone, maybe crying into her hands. But I didn't want to see her like that. Not out of cruelty, out of mercy. I whispered to myself, you did this to yourself, Emily. Then, softer, and so did I. My phone lit up again. Another message. I'm sorry for everything. I lost everything. Please answer. I locked the screen. The truth was, I wasn't angry anymore. Anger had burned out weeks ago, leaving only cold ash behind. I didn't need revenge. Her own choices had built the punishment she now lived in. The next morning, Ava dropped by unannounced. You ignored her again, didn't you? I did. Good, she said. You deserve to move on. I don't know what that means anymore, I admitted. It means you stop waiting for her to fix what she broke, Ava said. You let her face herself. I smiled weakly. Maybe karma's just a mirror. She tilted her head. What do you mean? She hurt me, and now she's living what she gave. I didn't have to lift a finger. It's like life just returned the favor. That's karma, Ava said quietly. You didn't need revenge. The truth did it for you. I nodded. Yeah. I think I finally get that. Ava sat beside me, her presence steady, calm. You're healing, she said. Maybe, I said. Or maybe I'm just learning how to stop bleeding. Either way, you're moving forward. We sat there for a while in silence. The kind that doesn't need to be filled. Outside, the rain started again, gentle, rhythmic. I watched it fall through the window, washing the glass clean. It felt symbolic, but I didn't overthink it. Not this time. I reached for my journal, flipping to a blank page. Karma isn't cruel, I wrote. It's patient. It waits for truth to catch up. For the first time in months, my hands didn't shake when I wrote her name. Emily. I paused, then crossed it out. Some names aren't meant to stay in your story forever. When I closed the notebook, I felt it, that quiet, weightless feeling I'd been chasing all along. Not victory. Not revenge. Just peace. I almost didn't go that night. Ava had dragged me to the art exhibit, saying, "You need to see something beautiful again, Ethan." I sighed. I'm not exactly in the mood to pretend I care about abstract paintings. You don't have to pretend, she said. Just show up. That's enough. So I did. And that's where I met her, Lily. She stood near a photograph of raindrops on glass, head slightly tilted, eyes soft. She didn't look like she was analyzing the art. She looked like she was feeling it. I caught myself staring. She noticed. You like it? She asked. It's calm, I said. Like silence that doesn't hurt. She smiled faintly. That's exactly what I was going for. You took this? She nodded. Yeah. I'm Lily. Ethan. There was a pause, the kind that doesn't feel awkward, just curious. You sound like someone who understands silence, she said. I let out a dry laugh. I've been living in it lately. She looked at me, not with pity, but with understanding. Silence isn't always empty. Sometimes it's just waiting for new words. I didn't know what to say. Her voice carried warmth I hadn't felt in months. We walked through the exhibit together. She talked about her travels, the people she photographed, the storms she'd chased for light. I listened, genuinely. When she asked, "What do you do?" I hesitated. "I used to be a husband," I said quietly. "Now I guess I'm figuring it out." She didn't flinch. "That sounds honest." "I'm trying to be," I said. Honesty used to be easy. Then it became a luxury. She nodded. "Pain does that. It makes truth feel dangerous." I looked at her then, really looked. There was something in her eyes that made me want to keep talking. "You ever lose something that made you forget who you were?" "Yeah," she said softly. "My brother. Years ago. After that, I started taking photos. I needed to find beauty again, even if it hurt." "Did it help?" I asked. "Not at first," she said. "But eventually, I realized healing isn't about forgetting. It's about making space for something new." We stood in front of a photo of a broken window reflecting a sunset. I whispered, "That's poetic." She smiled. "No, it's just survival." I chuckled. "Maybe those are the same thing." We found a corner near the coffee stand and kept talking. About art, pain, trust, and second chances. She never asked for details about Emily. She just let me speak when I wanted to, and didn't fill the silences when I couldn't. "I like how you don't push," I said at one point. "I don't believe in fixing people," she replied. "Just listening to the pieces they still have." Her words sank deep. I felt something shift, small, but real. When the exhibit ended, she asked, "You coming to the next one?" "Maybe," I said. "If you promise to bring more broken windows." She laughed, a soft, genuine sound. "Deal." That night, I walked home through cool air, my hands in my pockets, head lighter than it had been in months. I didn't feel healed. But I felt alive. That was new. At home, I poured myself a glass of water and sat on the floor beside my desk. My laptop sat open, photos of Emily still buried in a folder I hadn't touched since the breakup. My heart started to race. I hovered the mouse over the folder, my finger trembling. I could almost hear her laugh. The one that used to sound like safety, before it didn't. Then I heard Lily's voice in my head, "Healing isn't about forgetting." I whispered, "But it's about letting go." Click. Delete. The screen went blank for a second, and I swear it felt like air rushing into my lungs after being underwater too long. I leaned back, staring at the empty desktop. No folder. No pictures. No ghosts. My phone buzzed. "Ava." "Hey," she said. "How was the exhibit?" "Unexpected," I said. "Meaning?" "I met someone," I admitted. Her tone softened instantly. "Oh? Her name's Lily. She's a photographer." "That sounds promising," Ava said carefully. "But please tell me she's not another storm in disguise." I smiled. "No. She's the quiet after one." Ava chuckled. "That's poetic, Ethan." "I stole it from her," I said. She laughed. "Good. Maybe she'll teach you to smile again." Maybe she already did. After we hung up, I sat there for a while, the silence around me different now, not heavy, not cold. Just quiet. I glanced at the window, watching the faint city lights blur through the glass. For once, I didn't feel haunted by memories. I thought of Lily's words, about pain, truth, and rebuilding, and realized she was right. I wasn't broken beyond repair. I was just unfinished. I whispered to myself, "You're still here, Ethan. You made it through." The reflection in the window looked back, tired, yes, but alive. And that night, for the first time in what felt like forever, I slept without dreaming of her. It was a Saturday morning when the knock came. Slow, hesitant. I wasn't expecting anyone. When I opened the door, my chest tightened. Emily stood there. Her eyes were swollen, makeup smeared, hands trembling around a half-empty coffee cup. "Hi," she whispered. I didn't move. "Emily." She looked at me like I was a stranger she used to know. "Can I come in?" I hesitated, then stepped aside. 5 minutes. She entered slowly, scanning the room, the photos, the books, the quiet. You redecorated. Yeah, I said flatly. Needed a change. Her eyes landed on the empty wall where our wedding photo used to hang. I remember what used to be there. I don't, I replied. She flinched slightly. You've changed. I had to, I said. People do when their world collapses. She sat down on the couch, clutching her cup like it held her together. I made a mistake, Ethan. I took a deep breath. You made a series of choices. I was stupid, she said, voice breaking. I thought I wanted something exciting. I thought he cared. And now? Now I know what I lost, she said, looking up. You. The words didn't pierce me like they once would have. I felt nothing. Just quiet. You look good, she said softly. Calmer. I found peace, I said. Is she the reason? Lily? I asked. No. She's a reminder. I did the work myself. Emily's eyes filled with tears. I can't sleep. I keep thinking about how I destroyed everything. I miss us, Ethan. There is no us anymore, I said gently. You ended that. I know, she said, shaking her head. But people make mistakes. Can't we start over? I stared at her, searching for the anger that used to burn. It wasn't there. Do you even understand what you did to me? She opened her mouth, then closed it. I hurt you. You broke me, I said. And when I was bleeding, you called it love. She sobbed quietly. I didn't mean to. But you did, I interrupted. You meant every lie, every late night, every message. You meant it when you said you wanted him more. Her tears spilled over. I didn't know who I was then. And now? Now I know I want you back. I shook my head. You want the version of me that loved you unconditionally. That man doesn't exist anymore. She looked up, desperate. I can change. I swear. I'll do anything. I sat across from her, calm in a way that surprised me. Emily, this isn't revenge. I don't hate you. I just don't love you anymore. She stared at me as if the words were foreign. You don't mean that. I do, I said. You taught me how to stop holding on to things that burn. She covered her face with her hands, crying harder. I thought you'd always wait for me. I did, I admitted. For a while. But then I realized waiting for someone who already left is just another kind of dying. Her sobs quieted into broken breaths. I wish I could undo it all. I wish you could too, I said softly. But wishes don't rebuild trust. There was silence, the kind that fills a room with finality. She looked around once more, eyes resting on the small plant by the window. You kept that one alive, she said through a tearful laugh. You used to forget to water anything. I learned, I said. Healing needs attention too. She stood up slowly, wiping her eyes. I guess this is it, huh? Yeah, I said. This is it. Will you ever forgive me? I already did, I said. That's why I can let you go. She swallowed hard, nodding. I hope you're happy someday. I'm getting there, I said. Her hand lingered on the doorknob. You were the best thing that ever happened to me. I smiled faintly. Then don't ruin that memory by staying. She looked back at me, one last glance that carried regret, love, and surrender all tangled together. Goodbye, Ethan. Goodbye, Emily. The door closed softly, but the silence that followed wasn't heavy this time. It was clean. Free. I exhaled, leaning against the wall, feeling the weight lift from my chest. For the first time, I wasn't haunted by what she'd done. I wasn't angry or broken or waiting. I just was. And that silence, that perfect, final silence, was the loudest peace I'd ever known. The ocean was calm that evening. The kind of calm that doesn't ask questions, it just exists. Lily stood beside me, her hair catching the orange glow of the setting sun. You come here a lot, she said softly. Yeah, I replied. The waves don't lie. They just keep showing up. She smiled. You sound like someone who's learned a lot about pain. I guess I have, I said. But it's different now. It doesn't sting. It just hums quietly in the background. We stood in silence for a moment, watching the horizon melt into gold. The air smelled like salt and endings. Lily glanced at me. Do you ever think about her? Sometimes, I admitted. Not the way I used to. She's like an echo now. Faint, distant. What do you feel when you think about her? I took a deep breath. Gratitude, strangely. She broke me so completely that I had no choice but to rebuild. Lily tilted her head. That sounds like forgiveness. Maybe it is, I said. Not for her, for me. She nodded. You always talk about rebuilding. What does that mean to you? I looked at the waves, curling and breaking again. It means learning to live without needing someone to fix me. It means knowing I can survive loss and still be kind. She smiled faintly. You're doing it. Yeah, I said. A year ago, I didn't think I'd make it this far. Lily crouched, letting the water touch her fingers. Funny thing about storms, she said. They destroy, but they also clear the air. That's exactly it, I said. The storm was brutal, but it taught me clarity. She looked up at me. Do you still love her? I paused. Not in the way that word used to mean. I love what we were, and I love that I'm not trapped there anymore. That's rare, Lily said. Most people stay bitter. I admitted. For a long time. But bitterness is just grief refusing to move on. She stood, brushing sand off her hands. And now? Now I'm just here, I said. Present. Breathing. Lily smiled. That sounds like peace. It is, I said quietly. The sun dipped lower, painting the water with streaks of fire. I could hear children laughing in the distance, waves crashing rhythmically, a soundtrack to survival. Lily turned toward me. Do you ever miss the version of yourself that loved her? All the time, I said. He was naive, but he was pure. I miss his faith. But maybe that's how we grow, by losing the versions of ourselves that can't survive the truth. She looked at me thoughtfully. Do you hate her for what she did? No, I said. She gave me something I didn't know I needed, a reason to start over. Lily's voice softened. That's powerful. I smiled. Pain always is, if you learn from it. She slipped her hand into mine, not as someone trying to replace the past, but as someone quietly existing beside it. You've come a long way, she whispered. I have, I said. And I think I finally know what peace feels like. The tide crept closer, washing over our feet, cool and forgiving. I looked out at the endless blue and felt something loosen inside me, the last knot of resentment, the last ghost of what once was. I whispered into the wind, not for her to hear but for myself. Thank you for breaking me, Emily. Because now, I know how to rebuild. Lily squeezed my hand. What did you say? Just saying goodbye, I replied. We stood there as the last light faded, the world quiet except for the waves, steady, unbroken, eternal. And for the first time in a long, long while, I didn't feel like I was surviving anymore. I was living. I unlocked the door and stepped into the old house, my old life. The air smelled faintly of dust and echoes. I stood still for a moment, listening. The creak of the floorboards, the hum of silence. It used to be full of laughter once, and lies later. I whispered, "Hello, stranger," as I brushed my fingers along the wall. A part of me expected to hear her voice, Emily's, calling from the kitchen. But there was nothing. Just the soft thud of my own heartbeat. Guess it's really over, I said aloud, my voice bouncing back at me. You talking to ghosts now? Lily's voice broke the quiet. She stood in the doorway, smiling gently, a coffee cup in her hand. Maybe, I said with a small laugh. Or to the man who used to live here. She tilted her head. Does it hurt being back? I thought for a second. Less than I thought it would. It's strange, I remember the pain, but I don't feel it anymore. Lily walked closer, her steps soft. You don't owe this place anything, she said. You gave it your love, your youth, your trust. You can leave it behind now. I smiled faintly. You sound like you've done this before. I have, she admitted. We all have ghosts we need to stop feeding. I chuckled softly. Yeah. But mine had blue eyes and a habit of saying forever like it meant something. Lily smiled sadly. And now? Now forever just means letting go. I sighed. She reached out and took my hand. You've come a long way, Ethan. Her touch grounded me. I used to think closure meant getting answers, I said. But it's not about that, is it? No, she said. It's about realizing you don't need them anymore. I nodded slowly. That's exactly it. I walked into the living room, the same spot where Emily and I had danced barefoot, the same spot where I'd begged her to stay. My reflection flickered in the window, but the man looking back wasn't broken anymore. Do you want to be alone for a bit? Lily asked softly. Yeah, I said. Just a few minutes. She kissed my cheek and stepped outside. Silence filled the room again, gentle and forgiving this time. I sat on the edge of the old couch and pulled a folded piece of paper from my pocket. It wasn't for her. It never was. It was for me. I wrote, slowly, carefully. You survived. You're free. My hand trembled a little as I placed the note on the mantel. I whispered, this isn't your grave, it's your proof of life. Standing up, I looked around one last time. The walls didn't feel heavy anymore. The memories, good and bad, felt like pages from a book I'd already finished reading. I took a deep breath and said quietly, thank you, for everything you taught me, even through pain. Then I turned toward the door. Lily waited outside, sunlight falling over her hair like a promise. As I stepped out, she asked, ready? I smiled, really smiled, the kind that didn't need to hide scars. Yeah, I said. More than ever. She squeezed my hand as we walked to the car. Halfway down the driveway, I glanced back. The house looked smaller somehow, like it had let go of me too. And as I whispered my final goodbye, I realized, the story was never about betrayal. It was about rebirth. For the first time, I smiled not because I'd moved on from her, but because I'd finally found myself again.